that is the General Juma, as you see him, alleged. There he goes. Now, those are the other two accomplices. All these are accused persons, but this one's didn't enter. Now that is the VIP reception. Let's check where the cursor is. This is the first time we are seeing the deceased. There he is at the front, meeting General Juma, onto the VIP lift. You can see he's on phone. So they use the VIP lift. This is where it lands at the second floor. So there they come. Just check closely. This is on the phone. Then he hands over the phone. Now those two are already inside there. Then we go outside to Arambe Avenue. There is the Range Rover coming in. You can see where it was initially parking. The times are up there on the screen. From the parking, they make their way to the VIP reception. So there they are. Through the same VIP lifts. So that's the second floor. So that's the direction to the boardroom. So that is 939 as you can see. So now at 10, and then now they leave. So there they are, they leave. Down to the VIP reception again. And then they exit Harambe House Annex via Harambe Avenue. So you realize that the deceased and the alleged are still up. So you go back. It's around 10:04 now. Is the deceased? He lives alone. When he boards the lift up, he comes down here. There he is. You can see the phone. There he comes back again. You can see the phone, it's on, it lights, it shows it's on. He has some newspapers with him. Goes up again. So he comes up. The same one we played when he goes down. We want to show you when he comes back up. So here he comes with the newspapers. He leaves the door open to the lift. So this is when he came and left the door open. And then here they come. There he is. There's the general. There is the envelope. You can see. Here they come. Same envelope is there, you can see he moves his head. there, they come down to the VIP reception, watch that VIP, and also watch how they move. And he's ushered out through the back door again. So we go back to the KU parking. Because from where he has left, he'll go out and exit there. So there he comes. So it will take like another 3 minutes, so maybe we can just push ahead to see them now exit. That is 10:10. We can push ahead. So then we start leaving. The CCTV as a front seat passenger. So the exit, that is it. Thank you. So we are done with the presentation. I don't know if there is any question for forensic.
Come this side. Come this side. They need the sound.
Now, as per where you have reached, do you have any persons of interest that you want to interrogate in relation to the matter?
Will not comment on that for now. Kindly.
Is it a dead end?
No, it's not. It's open.
It's open.
So, based on what you have since ruled out the possibility of it being suicide, it was murder. So, who killed the officer and why?
That's what we want to find out. Yes. That's exactly what we want to find out, and that's why Homicide has come in to investigate the murder aspect.
At what point did you arrest Echesa and the rest of the suspects?
After they left Harambe House, a few minutes after that, yes.
Where exactly in town?
I'll give you the location later.
According to you as an expert, what do you think was the motive of this matter? Because a murder must have a motive, premeditated. So what do you think, why?
Well, that's what we're working on, and we've just shown you one part of it, but the rest of it is under active investigation, so let me not preempt at this stage, kindly.
So, still on that same aspect, you've shown us the people who are in court, and that is the office of the Deputy President. Do you have any evidence linking any of the senior staff or any of those people to the alleged offense? And again, how was the money that is alleged to have been paid out to the recipients?
That part of investigation is also not over, so it's still ongoing. Again, let me not preempt on that.
From the CCTV footage, sir, we saw, you mentioned, the director mentioned the fact that it appeared as if he was getting orders from another person when he left the rest to the so-called general with the VIPs. Have you managed to establish who was behind the end of that radio?
It's ongoing.
Do you think you are...
Okay, there was a report that the phone data had been erased. Is it the position, or how will you know who was on the other end?
As I've said, that is ongoing, please. Let's not get into that. It's
As an
ongoing,
expert
kindly.
in this homicide thing, do you think the DP is a person of interest?
The homicide will be able to come up with that.
If you decide that is a person of interest, will you be able to go and interrogate him?
As I've said again, please, let's not get into that. Kindly.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We can see the general and the deceased officer walking to the boardroom. Now, details of what they did in the boardroom and maybe who they met. Have you been able to establish details on that?
Yes, and that is the subject matter in court.
So maybe is
There are two matters here. There is the first matter, and then there is the homicide aspect of it. Yes.
So the government pathologist said that there were no visible injury marks on Kenei's body. So is it true that he was struck before he was shot?
Can I invite the homicide expert to deal that?
Just before you go, Mr. Korea, you said from the CCTV footage, would you say that the officer had a role to play or was actively involved in the same sense that he looks like he was part of the criminal gang, or what was his role or was he a victim?
I mean, we've all seen, isn't it? We've all
So from
seen.
the investigator's point of view,
Yes.
was the man a victim or an accomplice?
from where you are seated?
From where you are seated, Mr. Korea?
He's a witness.
A
He's a witness, yes, he was a witness. Thank you.
Quick on that. One key element was the officer, the deceased, official on duty during that day.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Maybe one last time, Mr. Korea. The two investors, so-called international investors, have you established from immigration the kind of permits they were in the country? Was it a tourist visa, or did they come to do business?
Yes, we're also working with immigration on this and other agencies. Yeah, so that is also ongoing. It's there. It's an aspect that we are going to look into. Thank you so much.
Homicide, please.
That's by telling us whether it was
What do you think, yes, sir? Do you think that man was in his own right sense when he died? Was he drugged? Was he immobilized? According to your analysis, not that you are perfect.
Okay, we did the post-mortem and we took samples, toxicology, the DNA and the histology, and we are yet to get the result. But today's meeting and the conference was to justify to you that we are investigating murder, and this is after analyzing the scene and so that it was not in consistence with what some of the medias were reporting. So today is just to confirm that we are investigating murder, and we are not maybe going to diverge most of the informations, but I know maybe there could be other press conference as we continue with the investigation, please.
Just a quick one. Now that you have ruled out suicide, you are now focusing on murder. From where you are seated, do you think that the accused persons have something to do with the murder of the late?
Pardon?
now that you say you are investigating murder, there's that the Kenei was murdered. So from where you are seated in your investigations, do you think we already have some accused persons who are appearing in court? Yes, but do you think that these accused persons have some links to the death of the late officer?
Okay, we are at preliminary investigations, and the fact will lead us to whoever did it, and later on we shall effect arrest, and the people we shall be together, whether in court or maybe at that such stage. So at this time we cannot say that whatever we are doing, because we are still conducting our investigations. At a later stage we shall be informing you of the progress of the matter.
So thank you very much.
Another question, Mr. Nyugulo.
Yeah. Last one, please.
Yes.
Yes.
It is very clear that the officer was shot. Whose gun was it? Where is it? And what are the ballistic results?
No, let us not. We are yet to receive some of the forensic experts. So I think let us first of all conduct an investigation. I have told you that we are at the preliminary stage. And when it comes to homicide, you all know that we usually get cooperation from you people and the members of the public. So I think I could kindly request that we stop here. Then maybe later on, maybe we can have a conference. Immediately, maybe we complete our investigation. Thank you.
Sir, the final one, eh?
No,
yeah.
no. Thank you.
No, we want to know, was the body, was the guy killed inside his room, or he was quit somewhere else, and the whole setup stage managed?
I'm going to answer that one as final. Where we found the body, that was the primary scene.
Is there a link between the killing and the investigation going on in Chester?
100%.
Right. This is a press conference held by the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kenei, together with senior officials of the DCI, and the investigations are underway. Just waiting for Mel Miendo to get ready there, because she has been at the press conference and she will be updating us on what exactly has been happening and the essence of that press conference. But this is one of the longest press conferences by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in the recent times. And I'd like to go to the last comment, where that investigating officer made it clear that there is indeed a link between the ongoing investigations regarding the former Sports Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa and that murder. And it was blow-by-blow account of what could have happened. The press conference starting earlier on with a statement, or rather an explanation from the DCI Director, George Kenei, explaining how they have been conducting these murder investigations. And at one point, he took us back to the house and even demonstrated how essentially that gunshot entered the head of the officer who is now deceased, and how he was possibly killed, totally pouring cold water to a theory that this was a homicide. And definitely now the investigations have shifted, and it's trying to link Echesa to the murder, and they're confident that there is 100% a link between that murder and that of the investigations going on with Rashid Echesa. And the blow-to-blow account that took us to the inside of the DP's office at Harambee House Annex, the CCTV footage showing us Echesa driving in with his Range Rover, and even showing us when he entered the office of the Deputy President, and even showing us when Kenei seemingly left the lift open, and a few minutes later we could see Echesa getting into that lift, even showing us when Kenei exited that scene inside a Subaru driven by an unknown person, or someone who has not been said by the DCI, but the investigations are centered around that, and definitely now that they are clearing the doubt, they're saying that there's some reports from the media that it could have been suicide, but they've dismissed that, and now the focus is on murder. The family is asking questions, the whole nation is asking questions, even his boss, the deputy president, sending a condolence, and obviously everyone is asking questions. So the DCI this afternoon, what they attempted to do, and from the explanation of one of the investigating officers, is that they were trying to demonstrate to the country, the whole country, that indeed they are doing a murder investigation. So this is a developing story with so many twists and turns, and roping in a lot of other characters, some that we didn't even know, because they are bringing in new angles. For example, this is the first time we're looking at a CCTV footage of these two foreigners and Rashid Echesa driving into the DP's office, getting into the office, and obviously taking the executive lift. And we know it's an executive lift because it has a red carpet. So presumably it's a lift that is being used by the VIPs going to the DP's office. So very interesting investigations, even as we wait for Mel to get ready to brief us what exactly took place. I'm told she might not be ready, but that essentially is what the DCI has been trying to demonstrate this afternoon. And the take home about this is that it's a murder investigation, and they've poured cold water on any theory that could have demonstrated or could have shown that Kenei was killed himself. And even the DCI at one point, Kinoti, telling us there's no possibility Kenei could have killed himself, yet everything points to someone who had gone home to rest. He removed his clothes he was wearing for the day, probably took a shower, and even changed into his pajamas. Everything was neatly tucked. It doesn't point to a person who was preparing to kill themselves. Now, this also brings to question the theory about a note that was written and left at Kenei's house in Imara Daima. Those questions that need to be answered. Then who planted that note? But the DCI has put suspects right inside the house of Kenei. And now, again, another theory that was advanced is that Echesa was only there for 23 minutes at the DP's office. Now, the DCI has demonstrated and has shown that indeed it was 1 hour, 22 minutes before he exited together with the two foreigners that they came in with. Very strange occurrence, very new information we didn't know, but at least they're putting to spotlight this murder case that shocked the whole country, and of course of a police officer, and the DCI referring to him as one of our own, which means they're taking this very seriously, and the questions need to be answered. There's so many inconclusive investigations over the last few days, but what we know as at this moment now, as we summarize this, is that the DCI is confident he was murdered, and they are trying to link Echesa to that murder. And one of the IOs, investigating officers, stating clearly that there is 100% link between the death of Kenei and Echesa visiting, and the arms deal that was supposed to happen that did not happen, the 39 billion shilling arms deal. So it's an investigation that's going on. They're a little bit cagey with specific information to these investigations, but at least they put it out there through CCTV footage, through explanations. The other day they did it through phone calls, through mobile triangulation, putting the suspects to that house. Now they have narrowed down to the time that was taken by Echesa in that office. And obviously now what remains, that they say they will call another press conference to explain, is what happened when Kenei left in that Subaru with that unidentified gentleman after he left the DP's office. Where did they go? So that's a question that they're also going to answer. But this is a story Mel Miendo is working on, and definitely we'll have it for you at 7 and at 9, and of course at 4 p.m. in the next 20 minutes or so. We'll have our Swahili team also trying to shed light in some of these occurrences and telling you precisely what the DCI has uncovered and where next. For now, we take a break. In about 20 minutes, NTV will be here. NTV, the team from Swahili will be here. That's NTV Sasa. NTV Alasiri, sorry, will be here to shed light on this, and probably they'll have Mel Miendo from the scene, that's the DCI headquarters in Kiambu, just to explain exactly where this investigation is heading next, having linked the visit at the DP's office with Kenei's murder directly, and now they have CCTV footage to support it. Well, we leave you for now. My name is Ken Mijunga. Have a good afternoon, but remember, in about 17 minutes, our Swahili team will be in studio. So keep it here for more information on these Kenei murder investigations.